There you go.
Hey, sports fans, PB&Z, Sports Chaos, and we got a good one. Last time we talked to you, we gave our draft projections. We may not have been right on the money, but we had a lot of the right players, just the team screwed up. And I got a little bit of a 2-minute drill this week because we had some interesting stuff happen this past week in sports. I'll get right into it, PB. You ready?
Oh, I'm very ready. Ready with my Tropical Bay IPA once again.
Nice! Tropical Bay, we love you guys. Hey, PB, you're an NHL fan. Tom Wilson, is he the number one thug in the NHL right now?
He's up there.
Oh, absolutely he's number one. Do you see what he did this past week to the Rangers? Poor Artemi Perin, I don't know if I pronounced that correctly. He body slammed him twice after punching his teammate in the head a couple of times when he was down on the ice. And he only got a $5,000 fee, a fine, no suspensions. I mean, maybe a 5-minute misconduct. Bullshit, NHL. And the Rangers called him on that. You know what happened? The Rangers got a $250,000 fine for calling out them on that. But they should have. But they followed it up on Wednesday night with Slapshot 2, right? The first play of the game, the face-off. We had 3 guys duking it out. I thought I was watching Paul Newman all over again. It was unbelievable. Oh my God.
There was 100 penalty minutes in the first period.
100, yes. 12 misconducts in the game, right? That was epic. Oh my God. Hey, by the way, James Dolan, he fired the president of the Rangers and the GM. The president's only been there 2 years. John Davidson, the former goalie. I don't know what his problem is, but James Dolan is the worst owner in sports. He owns not only them, but the Knicks and Madison Square Garden. He's an idiot. He's a complete effing idiot. Get rid of him. All right, I'm getting off my press box. Hey, NBA news. LeBron, speaking of stupid people, LeBron came out this week and said, what? The play-in games? Who ever thought of that? They must be beep, bleep, bleep. LeBron, you voted on it. They put it out to the Players Association. All you guys voted on it. You knew what was coming. Is it because your team sucks right now and they might have to play in the play-in game, LeBron? Oh, I'm sorry. Get healthy, you fool. Hey, by the way, Celtics, they may be in the play-in game too, PB. I don't know. Danny and Brad Stevens. You know my frustration there, right?
Yeah. You're frustrated with the coaching. You're frustrated with his lack of control over the players.
MLB, big news this week. JMeans for the Baltimore Orioles. We've been down there a few times. Pitches the 3rd no-hitter this season. PB, interesting stat. He only faced 27 batters. He got 27 outs, but 1 batter got on because of a dropped 3rd strike. He tried to steal right after that. He got thrown out. He's not credited with a perfect game. Thoughts?
No, I know. It's interesting if you think about it, right? Because you technically can, I mean, you could make an argument that he had faced 27 batters, got 27 guys out. I mean, that's a strikeout.
Yeah.
That's when a guy reaches first on a drop third strike, the pitcher still gets credit for the strikeout.
He did, right? Correct.
The catcher's not getting credit for the putout, though.
No, he's not. Not in that case.
Right, and then
he the throw out when he tried to steal second right after that. So, hey, by the way, what are you gonna say?
I was gonna say, but the drop third strike though was considered a wild pitch and not a pass ball. So it was the guy swung at a pitch that clearly was way out of the strike zone as opposed to the catcher dropping it. So a little bit of consideration there.
Hey, so let me ask you a question. So this year we've had 3 no-hitters already. 2 of them were almost a perfect game, but hit batter by pitcher, right? And now this drop third strike. So do you think the money is good right now on a perfect game this season?
Man, it's still so hard to do. How many have there been? Like 13 or 14 in the entire history of Major League Baseball?
But when you look at the guys who have thrown these no-hitters and they've come this close, that close. I mean, I got to believe Like a
I
guy
mean,
like Clayton Kershaw or somebody could get a Max Scherzer.
I don't know. I look at it this way. I think it's a hitter's game right now. I mean, I think the hitting and power and speed and bat speed has gotten so much better over the years that I think it's harder to pitch a no hitter these
But
days.
PB, strikeouts are way up there, epic levels. I mean, the Red Sox are right now on an unbelievable streak of having 10 Ks in a row in a game as their pitching staff. Never been done before in the history of their team. I don't know. Speaking of the Red Sox, who would have thought right now, today, May 7th, they're the best team in the major leagues? Can you believe it?
I know. No, I can't believe it. I can't
I don't
believe it.
believe it either. I don't believe it.
And I'm still questioning the sustainability of that. I just.
I'm with you as well. It's going to fade, I'm sure. But the fact that they already got to May and they're in first place in the AL East to get the best record, I don't know. Hein Bloom, maybe he doesn't suck. I don't know. Hey, Albert Pujols, bad thing happened here.
What's that?
He's gone. Angels cut him. They're done. They waived him.
Well, he's up there, right? Isn't he like over 40 now?
He's 41. Yes, he is. He's hit 198, a little better than the Red Sox first baseman.
Yeah. And we shouldn't be talking about people not being able to play past the age of 40 after seeing what Tom Brady's done recently. But still, I mean, of any sport, you would think baseball is one that you could play to an older age. But
I hope someone picks him up for this last season and then he retires. The guy, he's a first ballot Hall of Famer, right?
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Oh, yeah. All right, let's get to the NFL. Hey, Aaron Rodgers. I mean, did he wait too long to come out and cry about never playing again for Green Bay? Or did he screw Green Bay by waiting until after the draft?
Yeah, I mean, that's an interesting situation. I mean, there was some talk about that, right after the season ended, right? And then it faded a little bit because people were getting, you had the Deshaun Watson story going on. Russell Wilson was another one who had it peaked for a little while. That was hot for a couple of weeks, and then it faded a little bit. And then in the end, you really thought, the Packers came out and said that they want him on their team, and they had no intentions of trying to trade him or anything. And I don't know. There's something going on there that just isn't right, and I don't have a good feeling about it. And I think in the end, he's not going to be there. And I don't know if retirement's the option at this point, or if he's going to end up with another team.
I will say this. At first, I thought it was a bad move because Green Bay didn't have anything they could do after this. The draft was done. But then I'm thinking, oh, my God, he screwed them. They can't do anything. They're not going to get proper value for him at this point in time. It's over.
I know.
So he won. At the end of the day, he wins.
Yeah.
If they have to trade him, they get nothing back, or he retires. And by the way, he'll do Jeopardy, I guess, right?
Yeah.
All right.
What's interesting there too is the Denver Broncos right now have the 9th best odds to win the Super Bowl next year. Think about that.
If he goes to Denver, which, by the way, what do they give up? They give up maybe the quarterback that's already there, right? The kid from Missouri, and maybe a couple of draft picks and maybe one other guy. They're not going to give up a lot. They don't have to, right?
Right. And they already have a pretty legitimate defense, and they have a couple guys who I think did pretty good offensively. They have that guy, Sutton?
Cortland Sutherland, and then Jerry Jeudy. Imagine Jerry Jeudy underneath a Aaron Rodgers bomb. Oh my God!
Right. So I mean, you got some guys there. I mean, I can see why Vegas is right now. I mean, you're not getting good odds. It's 20 to 1 to win the Super Bowl next year. Right. I mean, they're the ninth highest favorite team. So I think Vegas might know something we don't know, but there's a chance that he could maybe somehow land himself in Denver.
I will say this, and I don't think if Denver doesn't bite too early, they can hold out in Green Bay. If they find out Aaron doesn't show up for training camp, they're going to do something, right? They're going to get something for nothing at that point in time.
Yeah. Has this been the most turbulent quarterback off season ever that you can remember?
Well, we talked about it way back when the first deal happened, right? When Goff went to Detroit for what's his name?
Stafford, yeah. Stafford, yeah.
Stafford. And we said it was going to be wild, and right now it's looking like it's going to be wild. Who knows?
Yeah. We were calling it the quarterback carousel, right? And
I think it's still going to hold be true for sure.
Yeah.
Hey, speaking of quarterbacks, no more apparently. Timmy Tebow, he's coming back to play tight end for the Jacksonville Jaguars. A lot of people are criticizing that because he's going back to his buddy Urban Meyer. I actually think that's a good move. I think he can succeed. Believe it or not, I think he succeeds.
yeah, he could be like a Taysom Hill kind of player.
Yes.
Jacksonville, you plug him in here and there. He could take a few, wildcat snaps on the center a few times, right?
By the way, the guy benches 495. I mean, he can block a little bit, I'm sure. All right,
Yeah.
Hey, let's get into the big topic, the drafts. All right. Right away, what was your biggest surprise out of the draft?
Oh man, there's so many of them. I mean, I don't want to say it was a surprise, but obviously it was a delight to see the Patriots able to get Mac Jones at number 15.
By the way, who picked that?
Yeah, you called that one, and a lot of people said that he fits into that San Francisco system, and they thought that they were going to get him at number 3, and then those Fields was in the equation. You picked Fields to go there. They ended up taking Trey Lance. There's just so much talk and so much stuff going around. But Mac Jones, if you think about it, he really does fit the Patriots system. And
we've talked about this for a long time.
So I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised by it, but I'm delighted by it. I thought the Bears trading up to get Justin Fields at number 11. I did think they were going to trade up. I had them trading up with the Panthers at 8 to get Trey Lance. He was off the board, so they traded up to 11. That was a big move for them.
Huge.
The Jets.
Hey, by the way, BB, hold on. The other big move for them, they also got in the second round the tackle who I think one of us had going in the first round from Oklahoma State, Trayvon Jenkins, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Tevin Jenkins. Yeah, for sure.
So
Absolutely.
They got 2 surprise picks that we didn't see that I think makes them.
I had him going to the Steelers in the first round.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. What else was a big deal?
Jets moving up after they got Zach Wilson to get Vera Tucker, the guy from USC. I thought, you know what? Some people thought that was a stretch. I thought it was a great move for them. They needed to get a lineman. Some good guys were off the board at that point in time. They did well.
I agree with you from a need standpoint. Absolutely. You had them going to the Jets, but at 23.
Yes.
And the Jets traded up 9 places to 14 with the Vikings to get him. And oh, by the way, the Vikings still picked up a very qualified offensive lineman at number 23 in Christian Darrisaw out of Virginia Tech, right? And I had Darrisaw going number 12 to Philly.
Right.
So after the Vikings traded down and still was able to get him, I think that actually worked out better for the Vikings than it did for the Jets. From a player for the player on the team perspective, it worked out for both teams. But the fact that the Jets had to trade up to get there and the Vikings got to trade down to still get Darrisaw, you have to give the better to the Vikings there.
And by the way, speaking of the Jets, PB, I actually think they did very good to get Elijah Moore in the next round, a wide receiver. Yeah. He was highly rated. And they got the 5th best running back, or 4th best running back in a lot of people's opinions, in the 4th round, Michael Carter from North Carolina.
Yeah. So they had a good draft. They did.
They did.
We can't discount here as one of the biggest surprises, though, was the Cincinnati Bengals passing on Penei Sewell at number 5. I think
my worst pick for the draft.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's got to be up there.
Chase, you love Chase, the wide receiver at LSU. He's going to be a stud. But if your quarterback's on his back all day long, you can't catch any balls.
Right. And if you have someone blocking for him, you could pretty much put any receiver out there and he's going to catch the ball. So I do agree that was a pretty bad pick there. I think they were looking for that reuniting of, college quarterback receiver, which Miami did. We'll talk about that in a second. But You know, you had Joe Burrow graduating LSU, coming out of LSU the year before, and then you had, you know, Jamar Chase, another LSU product, you know, who he probably was vouching for him. He had to be, you know.
Oh, by the way, you mentioned Miami. You were at their draft headquarters on the first round night, correct?
Yeah, I was on the field. Actually, they had the draft headquarters outside of Miami in Davie, Florida, but we were right there on scene with all the news and everything else going on the field.
Right.
It's a good experience, but you know, same thing here. I think they had an excellent draft, but with Cincinnati passing on Penei Sewell and taking Jamar Chase, now you have Miami with Penei Sewell sitting right on your lap. And why didn't they take Penei Sewell there? Instead, again, listening to probably Tua and reuniting him with his college quarterback. I mean, you had Waddle and Devontae Smith to pick from. Waddle probably, as you had mentioned on previous shows, has the bigger upside potential.
I think so.
Devontae won the Heisman and obviously had an excellent year. Waddle didn't even play last year. So, of course, you know, on paper and right in front of everyone's eyes, Devonta Smith looks like the better pick, right? But Waddle in the end could be better for that offense. So I don't hate the pick, but again, passing on Sewell is just, to me, kind of tough.
I will say this. Miami fans, get ready for this guy. You drafted in the 4th round. He will be a star for you one day. His name is Hunter Long, tight end. I've seen him play over a dozen times in person. He's the real deal. You guys will love him down there. Trust me.
Yeah, he's a tight end, and they I mean, while we're on Miami, they did have a good draft, right? Overall, they ended up getting Jalen Phillips also in the 1st round at number 18.
Out of Miami, yeah.
Miami, out of the U, and they also picked up the safety out of Oregon, Holland.
Yep.
In the 2nd round. So, you know, and they got Eichenberg, the tackle from Notre Dame.
Yes. I will say this. I can't believe I'm going to say this right now, but do you know who I think won the offseason between free agency and the draft?
Well, if you count free agency and the draft, it's got to be the Patriots.
Close.
Okay.
The one team that had a big need that addressed it clearly, the Kansas City Chiefs. The thing that killed them in the Super Bowl, offensive line, Patrick ran for 400 yards backwards, right? They got Joe Tooney in free agency, the best guard, I think, in the NFL. They got Orlando Brown, who we talked about it last week before the draft show, a trade from the Ravens. And then a guy we talked about as a sleeper, Creed Humphrey, Oklahoma guard center. They drafted him. They addressed all their problems on the offensive line. Plus, they got a kid, Nick Bolton, a linebacker from I think, Ole Miss or Missouri. They got him in the 2nd round. I can't even believe I have to admit this, but I think the Chiefs stole the offseason at this point in time. It sucks.
Interesting. Okay.
You know why, PB? Only for one reason. They address their needs. They don't have many needs, as we know, right? But O-line killed them in the Super Bowl, and they cleaned that up in three moves. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Hey, what about teams that blew this thing? You already mentioned one of them.
Yeah, we know the Bengals blew their pick for sure, and
you also mentioned earlier offline the Saints. And I agree with you as well, right?
Yeah, the Saints they took a defensive lineman, Peyton Turner, at their pick, but when they selected him, I think it was 28th or something like that. They held Rousseau was still on the board, who went a couple to the Owe was on the board, the edge outside linebacker, edge guy from Penn State, who ended up going to the Ravens at 31. He was on the board. The Bucs took Joe Tyron out of Washington at 32. He was still on the board. Aziz,
second round. I had him in the 1st.
You had him in the 1st. He went in the 2nd. He was still on the board. I mean, if they wanted a guy on the defensive line or an edge guy in particular, there was probably 4 or 5 guys that I could easily see them taking a better impact than the guy they took. And then after that, it just went downhill. So I just think New Orleans was probably one of the bigger losers in the draft.
I got 3 for you. Pittsburgh, Najee Harris. I think he's going to be a great player, but they get no offensive line. So if you can't block, you can't run, right? Green Bay, Eric Stokes. There was other guys on the board at defensive back that were better ranked than Eric Stokes. And no wide receiver. Again, we talk about Aaron Rodgers, no weapons. We talked about why he's going to leave. They don't pick a wide receiver in the 3rd round. And last, the Rams. I know they didn't pick the 57, but they picked you and me, apparently, in the draft.
Yeah.
Those are my losers.
Yeah, I had Green Bay down there too as a loser. So,
all right.
To say, I mean, until they start practicing and understand the scheme and study the playbook and get on the field and show their athleticism and gameplay action on Sunday is really where it's going to come down. There's going to be some guys who are taking the 2nd and 3rd round that are going to probably end up being great players, and there's going to be some major busts in the 1st round too. So we'll have to see how the season plays out.
I will say, as a parting shot, I'm surprised by Bill Belichick only taking major college players. He always takes a guy from like Division II, Division I AA, whatever. He only took big studs, right? I mean, his first 4 picks, Alabama, 2 of them, and Oklahoma, 2 of them out of his first 4 picks. By the way, I think all 4 of those guys make the team. And he took a kid from Michigan, I think number 5, a linebacker, who I think will make the team as well. So we'll see. But surprisingly, Bill went with the powerhouse teams. We'll see what happens.
I wonder if the linebacker out of Michigan, the kid that they have on the team now, the blonde kid, what's his name?
Yeah, I wouldn't check. How do I say that? I can't even pronounce his name. Yeah. Chase
Winovich or something, right? I wonder if he must know something there too, having played with him, probably, right?
Yeah.
Another Michigan kid, same position.
We'll see.
Yeah, the Patriots had a good draft. I think they came out of this thing good. So
I do too. All right, listen. Next week we're gonna get ready for NHL and NBA playoffs. Apparently, they both come close to starting next weekend. We'll talk a little bit about that, right?
Absolutely.
Roma fans, PB has right now at the moment. What do you have? 15 out of the 16 NHL teams.
Well, only one of mine is definitely out. But if Dallas can get in, which they still have a legitimate shot of doing, I'll have 15 out of 16 of the playoff teams predicted from the beginning of the season.
G Money, how do you think about that, buddy? All right, PB, nice. PB&Z Sports Chaos. We'll talk to you soon. Good show, PB. Talk to you soon.
Okay.